Okay, we've got Vijayaraghavan Venugopal joining us as well this morning, co-founder and CEO at Fast&Up. Great to have you with us. Vijay, what's the growth in the nutraceuticals market? I mean, everyone's really all about wellness and immunity at the moment. So is global consumption growing faster than we'd earlier thought?
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here today. In fact, I think nutraceuticals and nutritional market has always been a very interesting subject for everyone. But I think with COVID coming in, it has actually expedited the growth of the nutrition segment across the world, in fact, globally. And in India, it's interesting times because we remember we launched Fast&Up around 5 years back. And it's been a journey where we had to educate customers, get customers to be, eating healthy nutrition. And what we are seeing in the last 4 months is actually a growth of the segment in a manner which one wouldn't have expected. A lot of people are now focusing on nutrition. The searches on the internet have gone up. In fact, at Fast&Up itself, we had a very balanced portfolio, and we are really seeing a huge growth in terms of our daily nutrition supplements, which include the vitamin C, the multivitamins, the magnesium, and a lot of stuff which typically people would have actually, used only when a doctor prescribed, or in a case where one would have fallen ill and then gone to the doctor and taken up the medication. But what we are seeing now is a very proactive step in terms of the approach to nutrition. And we believe that this is going to stay. So what I would summarize is, at least for India, we are seeing that we have leapfrogged by around 3 to 4 years in terms of the nutrition journey. There was a lot of focus on health and wellness already, but the current trend of the last 3-4 months has actually helped us leapfrog. And I believe that it is good for companies which are focusing, innovating, and doing well in this segment.
Okay, so what's the kind of scope here then? I mean, when you're talking about it leapfrogging, going forward, any numbers we can put to that? And, given that more and more people are going to now be taking a conscious effort to ensure that they fall sick less often, for example, pharma companies are saying that infection rates will now be lower. There'll be greater focus on nutraceuticals going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I can only talk from Fast&Up perspective, just to give you an idea about what we have been doing. In the last 3 months, I think we have grown 3 times. And we believe that this year we would be growing around 3 times of what we did last year. And the growth is sustainable, right? Because as you rightly said, a lot of people are focusing on becoming healthier and fitter. So it is not about taking a product after you're ill. So people are going to take it before. And I think this gives immense scope to a lot of companies to actually get into various spaces. You would have already seen in terms of the companies which are actually promoting, advertising, and on the media. And you are right when you say that pharmaceutical companies have traditionally stayed off nutraceutical business because that has not been a core sector for them. But we are also seeing a lot of pharmaceutical companies, trying to get focus into this segment, and the kind of focus which is there across the spectrum speaks well for the business. And also in the last 3 months, if you have noticed, there are a lot of new products which is being launched. In fact, we launched around 3 to 4 products in the daily nutrition and health space. So I think you will see a trend where there are more products being launched, more customer awareness, and also getting a lot of customers who historically wouldn't be attracted to nutrition, using nutrition as a way to get healthier. I can actually talk from personal experience, in fact, right from my family to friends. In fact, their curiosity about having nutrition or supplements have increased multifold. And probably this is going to stay. I think as long as we are staying true to the course and doing good products, I think this is going to stay.
Sure. Vijayaraghavan, you already sell to about 20 countries. Has the COVID pandemic now led a bump up when it comes to export growth as well? We are already the pharma kitchen for the world. Could we become the same for nutraceuticals?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question, right? Because we have always believed that nutraceuticals and technically pharma manufacturing goes hand in hand. At the end of the day, like you rightly said, the kitchen is more or less of the same manner, right? So what we have seen is that there is a huge pent-up demand which is coming through in the global market for a lot of products. And I think there is a trend of Indian companies going out. For example, incidentally, we have actually launched in a few international markets in the last few months. We have gone into US, UK, Middle East. There's a lot of interest in Europe because Fast&Up originally comes from Switzerland, and there's a lot of interest out there. So I think this is a great opportunity for Indian companies to expedite that process of going to global markets. And I think the US market, for example, is far bigger than what India is. If you talk about nutraceutical market today, India is still, less than 2% of the global market share. So there is a lot of business to be done outside of India. And if you can balance being in India, taking advantage of the Indian market, and also doing things well in the international market, the scope for Indian companies is going to be huge. So I think you're right. We are seeing a great trend in that, and I think this is good for India because typically what has happened is that nutrition, when it comes to nutrition, all of us would go abroad and bring quality nutrition products from outside India and then use it in India. So if you are able to get good Indian companies to manufacture top-class global quality nutrition products, it's obviously going to have an impact across the world. And we are actually seeing it in some of the countries like US, Europe, UK, where we are able to get there and customers are able to accept us, which is great for us.
Sure. But tell me, when one looks to India, is it more the organic, Ayurvedic, homegrown brands? Is what is catching the Western world's fancy? Or they're okay with nutraceuticals in their current form?
So this is again an interesting question, right? Always historically, India has been looked at as the market or the place from where natural ingredients come into play. But if you see the entire nutraceutical space across the world today, there's a subtle shift which is happening, right? At the end of the day, a nutrition product is a nutrition product, right? It can have multiple ingredients. It can come from synthetic roots. It can come from organic root. It can come from a natural root. But at the end of the day, what it does is it helps people stay healthy and fit. So we are seeing a trend towards more of natural products. Now, it need not be necessarily Ayurveda driven, but good quality, I would say plant driven or nature driven products also. It doesn't mean the other products don't have a place in it. So to answer your question, when you look at global opportunities, they are not just looking at India as a place where you get Ayurveda product. I mean, that's probably was the case, but today they are accepting India as a quality manufacturer of various products, which includes plant-based nutrition as well. Be reminded that even plant-based nutrition is not as simple as we think. You cannot really put a few ingredients together and get out a product. It has to go through a quality test and then get certified. For example, we recently launched a plant protein, which typically goes into the sports segment a little bit, but we actually get it tested from a UK lab because we have to adhere to norms of WADA and banned products testing, banned substances testing, etc. So they noted that they are finding it difficult to test plant-based nutrients because they don't know the source, right? At the end of the day, you might get a plant source which is contaminated. So I think even when you go organic or nature-driven or plant-based, you need to be mindful of the fact that you come out with a product, a process which can adhere to global controls. Otherwise, it can create a problem. But generally, there is a trend across the world where people are preferring to be more organic, more nature-driven, and India possibly plays a role there because we have a history of being in this segment for some time. But that doesn't mean that we can just jump in and start selling the product. We still have to go through certain regulatory controls. We have to go through quality controls and make sure that the products are fitting in with the quality standards which are acceptable worldwide.
I'm on your website as we speak right now, and you turn 5. It's the big birthday bash that you all are celebrating with a 40% off. So I might just order something after the interview. But tell me, any listing plans? You've got marquee investors like Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, Nikhil Vora, Sixth Sense Ventures, Akash Prakash, all investors. You're still a baby company in that sense, but I'm sure you must have some listing plan.
So I think when you have marquee investors like the ones that you have named, there's always a lot of interaction which happens inside, a lot of plans which keep getting unfolded. But I think currently what we are trying to do is establish ourselves as a true, strong Indian brand which takes the Indian flag across the globe and also does well in India. And things like listing and growth and revenues will come automatically. And I think we have a strong team at Fast&Up and obviously aided by marquee investors. So it's a great journey going forward.
Okay, so all right, things looking very exciting for the company. Good luck and thanks so much for taking time out and joining in and giving us that perspective.